This is a brand new Kirblog, another about Otakon. I guessed it, and this is on what it was like. I would like to share with you Takushi Domiraju. Because I was there because of Sailor Moon. Get it? And yes, I know it's not from Super season. Shut the hell up. Hi, my God Almighty, this has been a busy-ass month. I've barely had time for the usual amount of Kirblogs. I've been streaming on and off my channel. I've been away and doing things, and one of which of those things now a couple of weeks ago was getting to be a guest at Otakon. I was looking up the last time I did a Kirblog about Otakon was an entire year ago, shortly after, I think, or before. It had its final year in Baltimore, where it had been taking place for all the time that I've been to it, and yeah, I'm very happy to say that I not only got invited, thanks to the lovely folks at Viz Media, hence my little Sailor Moon tribute thing in the beginning, to get to be a guest there, but also at its first time being in DC, which was super cool, and I know scary for a lot of people, both the attendees and the staff, but I gotta say, I had an absolutely fantastic time. I have not been a guest at a convention in a really long time. I've done a few of these Kirblogs about just being at conventions in general, both as a guest and as an attendee. Ben and I did one about the do's and don'ts of con, guest etiquette, etc. But this is the first con I've guested at in a really long time, and this was really special to me too. It was kind of a last second thing. I was really only being flown in to be there for the one full day of Saturday, but thankfully I got to spend some time Friday night and Sunday morning as well. So it really did feel kind of like the whole full weekend and everything. And yeah, it was a really great experience. There were certainly some hiccups here and there, and some unfortunate things such as a flood that happened in the Artist Alley area. I think late Saturday night or maybe Sunday, can't remember. So that was sad, but other than that, I had a fantastic time, and it was really a huge honor to get to be at this convention in this capacity, especially considering this is, as I've often talked about, this is one of the first, this is one of the first conventions I ever went to. It was definitely the first big convention that I ever went to. Yeah, major props to Charlene Ingram, who's the mistress of all things Sailor Moon marketing over at Viz Media, and all the Viz folks, a lot of folks that I got to meet there that weekend who were really kind, and yeah, I owe them this trip, and this opportunity was all thanks to them. So just wanted to do a quick little update Kirblog, just a short one to kind of close out the month as September's about to get insanely busy. Dear God Almighty. Yeah, I wanted to talk about just my experience in general. So I came out on Friday night, and on that first day, I was hoping that maybe I would be able to join in on some other things that were happening throughout the weekend, but just due to scheduling and stuff, I wasn't able to. There was a lot of stuff that actually I missed out, and probably a few people that I didn't get to see, unfortunately, during that time. But I did as much as I could. And one of the things I noticed was that when I looked at the schedule before heading out there, I saw that there was a Voice Actors After Dark 18+ panel that was going on Friday night, and I would have been there with a few hours to spare. So I thought, you know what, fuck it, why not? So I asked Victor, who's the head of everything, if I could, hey, can I hop on that? Not being sure of who was going to be there and everything. And so I showed up, and I saw the lovely and talented Jamie McGonigal, who voices Barry on Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, and is actually a person who he probably wouldn't. I said this, and he wouldn't even accept this compliment, I know, but he's somebody that actually I owe a lot to for my first opportunity that I ever got to do voiceover back on Pokemon way ages ago. So major shout outs to him, and I hadn't seen him in maybe like 5 or 6 years or something, long time. So big hugs, and then also Tyson Reinhardt, who I had not had the pleasure of meeting but knew of through Steve Yurko, was up there. So it was the three of us. A lot of fun, a lot of ridiculous jokes and comments and things to be talked about while we were there. I hadn't done an After Dark panel like really in ages, just the same. And I feel like I'm in a way I'm always doing that when I'm recording these, because I can say whatever the fuck I want. But doing that in front of several hundred people was certainly an interesting experience. And Jamie and Tyson were both hilarious, and it was great getting to do that with them. A few other people sadly skipped out, but that was okay. We had a great time without them anyway. So later that night, I had the pleasure of seeing, also for the first time, I think since the weekend I moved to L.A., Sarah Sullivan, who was super adorable and fun, and hung out with her and Tyson that night. And also the following morning, we got breakfast together. It was, dude, I got to say, this venue, I think it was the Hilton and then another building, I forget. It was kind of a blur. I did not get the lay of the land over the course of that 24-hour or so period because I just didn't entirely know what the hell I was doing. But it was a really, really nice venue, and they had a built-in restaurant, and they were staff was kind enough to give me some breakfast vouchers to eat Saturday and Sunday morning, which was very kind of them. And I was hung out for a little bit. And then shortly after that, I was, oh, by the way, another major shout out, my awesome liaison, Tasha, who was responsible for getting me around everywhere, considering I had no idea where the fuck I was at any point. She was super cool, and we talked a lot and hung out and stuff. So major shout out to you, Tasha. If you ever hear this, thank you. You're the best. So then after that, I was taken up to do some press interviews, which I was not expecting, actually. They let me know ahead of time, but that was something that I didn't think I was going to be doing, since I was really just basically there for the Sailor Moon stuff specifically on Saturday. I came in, and a whole bunch of really nice folks interviewed me, a couple of which actually knew me from like my Newground stuff, which was surprising and very flattering. All very cool folks. I think maybe some of those interviews might be up by now. If I can find some of them, I might try to link them around if I can. And then shortly after that, then we went to the Sailor Moon panel, which was going on in the afternoon, and it was myself, Stephanie Shea, Sandy Fox, and Michelle Ruff. All of which Stephanie I've known for a while, and Sandy and Michelle I had met periodically throughout other points. And they were really kind, and I got to know them a little bit more throughout that day. And so we went up, and for those of you who maybe might have been following me that weekend, or if you were not at the convention, I filmed a little video of my going up to sit on the Sailor Moon panel when my name was called up, because, of course, I didn't even say, of course, for those of you who also haven't heard, the reason that I was there for the Sailor Moon stuff is because I'm playing Pegasus in the new English dub that Viz is doing of the entire 90s Sailor Moon Super series, the entire original 90s Sailor Moon series, and I'm doing the Supers season. Say that 8,000 times fast. No, don't. Just kidding. So that's what I was there for, and it was super cool. So it was basically just... It was two animal buddies and two Sailor Guardians, Sailor Moon, Sailor Chibi Moon, Luna, the cat, and Pegasus. But I went up first, and I recorded the video on my phone and then uploaded it like shortly after that. But on my way up, I banged my leg into one of the light stands that was in the way of the staircase, and I managed to do my best, because I think under different circumstances I would have just blurted out like "fuck" or something. But I kept it together and bounced, and oh dear God, my leg was killing me. I still have a scab there to this day. And thankfully Sharp played it off and was like, oh, it looks like he just got himself a Charlie horse. And I'm like, there were lots of horse puns. It was really amazing getting to be on that panel. I got to say, just on a side note, just, not related to Otakon specifically, it was one of my goals to be in this new dub of Sailor Moon, like now 3 years ago when it was first announced and first coming out, and they had the first Sailor Moon Super Panel at Anime Expo 2014, and now getting to be part of it and also getting to be on one of these panels with a lot of the cast and everybody was a massive honor, and everybody in the crowd was so wonderful and nice and asked a lot of really good questions, and we had a lot of really nice, poignant things, particularly the ladies. I just kind of was making jokes and was terrified that I might have been talking too much or being too annoying or whatever. But I think I did okay. Everybody seemed to be very entertained. I don't know if there's a recording of the Sailor Moon panel from Otakon, but if there is, please let me know, as I would love to. Well, I would not love to see myself make a moron of myself, up there, but I would certainly love anybody who missed it to check it out. Nonetheless, and then shortly after that, we were carted over to the autograph area and hung out there and got through, I think, I want to say about 200 or 300 people for autographs. We were on a very tight schedule and had to get a lot done, and it was kind of like a factory of just like signing stuff and saying hi very, very briefly. But everybody was very, very kind and kept the line moving along, which was great and very much appreciated by all of us. Also, Stephanie Shea drew some hilarious doodles for us to put next to us of all of our characters, so thanks to her for that as well, even though I'm the artist. And then after that, pretty much the rest of the night was just kind of running into folks and trying to find out and say hi to a bunch of people that I was hopefully going to get the chance to see. And I was very fortunate to run into a whole lot of people. Kind of unexpectedly, Michelle Knotts, the voice of Kinder Spirit, actually showed up because that shortly after the Sailor Moon autographs and stuff, I went to the Right Stuff panel where they announced a whole bunch of really awesome stuff, including the Aria Kickstarter to do an English dub, which Michelle is going to be in, along with Jessica Calvello and Lisa Ortiz. And much to my delight and very massive surprise, it made its money like very, very quickly. For those of you guys who haven't heard about this on Anime News Network or anything, I think it already made like $100,000, which is absolutely incredible. And major happy anniversary to Right Stuff being celebrated that weekend. I met Joe DeGiorgi, who is the voice director for the other half of Queen's Blade, which I worked on several years ago, and tossed in Jesse Nowak and Casey Modulo and Brittany Lauda into that show through some recommendations. That was a lot of fun. He was a great guy. And so Michelle and I caught up and we hung out for a little while. I was showing her some things about the video game, the Tome game. She perfectly recreated the Kerbifer getting glomped by Kinder Spirit scene from episode 12 for a fan who came up and was a big fan of the series, which was hilarious. Sadly, I did not get it on video. Sorry. But that was super cool and cute to do that, and it was great seeing her again for the first time in a while, and a bunch of her friends and folks as well. And God, who else? Oh, actually, major thanks to Satsuki from Sunrise, who's kind of been overseeing a lot of the Mobile Suit Gundam dub production stuff with a lot of the recent stuff, including Gundam Seed, which, of course, we've been talking about as of late. Casey Modulo is featured in. I'm voicing some minor stuff in it as well. And they announced that at Otakon, kind of, I believe, while I was in the middle of flying to Baltimore, or to DC, that is, right? I got to break out of that habit, sorry. Anyway, but Satsuki was very kind to introduce me to the producer and writer from Sunrise, two of the Japanese guests that were there to talk about a whole bunch of Gundam stuff. They had like several panels and things going on, and both of them also went up on the Right Stuff panel since they were announcing a bunch of awesome Blu-ray sets for like G Gundam and Gundam Wing and a bunch of that stuff, which was awesome. And so I got the chance to meet them. I was telling them that I was the English voice of Garmazabi in Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin, which they were very pleased to hear. And I did the little hair twirly thing. I tweeted a picture of that and all. That was super cute. I also, it not so subtly dropped a hint that I really hope that you guys do a remake of the original Mobile Suit Gundam series, possibly sometime after Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin is finished, to which they said that they might consider that. So fingers crossed, because I want to die in a blaze of glory. They were both wonderful. Also, the writer was like, "You do know that Garma dies, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to die because it's awesome." And then after that, the rest of the night was pretty much spent in the very nice green room, and caught up with a bunch of folks I hadn't seen in a while. I saw Tony Oliver. I saw Vic Mignogna for the first time in a long time. We talked for a bit. God, so many folks. A lot of the very nice people who worked at Viz that were there. Just kind of relaxed and hung out and had a just generally really, really good time. Like I already love this convention very much anyway. Saw even a few staff members I hadn't seen since like MagFest like a long time ago. A lot of really nice folks. And it was really cool just getting to be part of that and everything, and just have, like, I guess, be on the other side of it for once. I had been able to hang around some cool areas with folks that I knew in previous years that I'd gone, but never like this. And this was a huge honor to just be around and be a part of this experience. And again, for such a big milestone year of moving the convention venue after being in Baltimore for so long, was really awesome. And I would love to go back again. I don't know if I'd be able to afford going back as a normal attendee, but fingers crossed, maybe someday they might invite me back as a guest or something. I have no idea. So just a couple quick stories. Wanted to share that with y'all, and just kind of do a quick one in this last Tuesday of the month. We're about to enter into September, where hopefully we will be, launching the Tome Kickstarter and the free demo for the RPG and everything. The RPG game, as Nathan was kind enough to point out. If you missed out on the Tome update stream that I put out, I'll have a link to that at the end here. Please get yourself caught up to speed on what's going on with the game and everything. This weekend, I might be streaming with Casey or might be doing something else. I'm not 100% sure yet. I know we're going to be playing Mario 64 and then eventually Mario Maker at some point soon. So stay tuned for that. A whole lot going on. So, but in the meantime, if you were at Otakon, please let me know what your experience was like, any stories or anything. If we met at Otakon, let me know. I'll give you a shout out in the comments below, and etc. If you have any future Kirblog topic suggestions, just in case maybe I might have to do a new one this upcoming weekend instead, let me know in the comments below or hit me up on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, all that stuff. Not to be a hooer, but keep it tuned, subscribe, etc. Stay updated on everything that's going on, because there's going to be a whole lot going on very, very soon. But nonetheless, I will catch you all later. Have an excellent one, and boy.